Earlier today, I spoke with White House National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby. President Biden pledged his full support to Prime Minister Netanyahu over the weekend. So first, just give us the latest on what assistance the U.S. is providing for Israel and what Israel is saying that it needs at this moment.
In these early hours, it's largely in terms of weapons replenishment. You can imagine they're going through quite an expenditure of missile interceptors and artillery, ammunition, that kind of thing. So I think you can expect that that's really the early sets of security assistance that we'll be providing to Israel, and already a package of that assistance has been sent to Israel.
Is there anything you can tell us on how Israel's navigating how to respond militarily in Gaza, knowing so many Israelis are being held hostage there, with Hamas even threatening on-camera executions?
I want to be careful that I'm not speaking for the Israeli government or what their military operations are or will be. I certainly won't get ahead of them in a public setting. But you can certainly see by the response over the last 12 to 18 hours that it's been swift and it's been aggressive. I mean, the size and scale, the scope of the violence that have been visited upon the Israeli people by Hamas is unprecedented.
Can you confirm whether any American citizens are, in fact, among those being held hostage?
I cannot confirm that, but we do have a number of Americans who their whereabouts are unknown. They're unaccounted for. And we don't really know whether they're just missing somewhere or lost, or whether they're being held hostage. I think we have to accept the possibility that at least some of them are being held hostage by Hamas, and obviously we take that very seriously. We're in constant communication with Israeli officials to try to get as much granularity and information as we can about these Americans, but sadly we just don't have good, solid answers right now.
As you know, the Wall Street Journal has reported that Iranian security officials helped plan the Hamas attack and, quote, gave the green light for the assault at a meeting in Beirut last week. Has the U.S. confirmed the level of Iran's involvement in planning and the execution of this attack?
We have not, and neither have our Israeli counterparts. We don't have specific intelligence or evidence that says Iran was directly participating and involved in these particular attacks. Now, that said, make no mistake, there's a degree of complicity here just by virtue of the fact that Iran has been supporting Hamas militarily from a resource perspective, with training for now a couple of decades. So this is not a new relationship. They have helped lead to the kinds of ability that Hamas has in the field. So there's an air of complicity there.
As you well know, Republicans have criticized the recent deal to unfreeze $6 billion in Iranian assets as aiding this Hamas attack. Even if none of that money has been touched, what do you say to the critics who say just having access to those funds for humanitarian purposes allowed Tehran to free up other money to aid groups like Hamas?
I would say a couple of things. First of all, this is exactly the same arrangement that the previous administration executed, almost in exactly the same way, in terms of allowing the purchase of Iranian oil, and that revenue cannot be used by Iran for anything other than humanitarian purposes. I would also add that not a single dinar of that $6 billion that has been transferred to Qatar and unfrozen has actually been allocated into Iran. They haven't seen a single bit of it going forward. So, look, we can always refreeze those funds if we feel like we need to. We're not at that point. I don't have a policy decision to make on that.
A spokesman for Iran's foreign ministry released a statement today saying the West should realize their responsibilities in the continuation of aggression against the Palestinian nation. What's your response to that, which I think is fair to say is a widely held view in the Middle East?
It's also a widely distributed set of propaganda talking points by Iran. The president continues to believe in the viability of a two-state solution, which offers peace and justice for both Israelis and for Palestinians. Obviously, the focus today rightly needs to be on the violence inside Israel and these reprehensible terrorist attacks. I would also say that Hamas doesn't speak for all Palestinians and for their aspirations, for their desires to, again, have a state of their own and to be able to live in peace and security. That is something the United States believes in and will continue to pursue.
John Kirby at the White House, we thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.